Awesome. Well, we want to welcome you all to what we're going to have is a weekly Zoom call. This is actually going to be on Wednesdays from 8 to 8:30 for the purpose of just showing people. The purpose of this call is really for us to learn how to take control and disaster-proof your financial future by building a solid 5-6-figure income annually and producing a legacy asset for yourself and your family during this time of pandemics and recessions. So we want to show people just how they can make income from their home and create income now and also create income for the future and also plan B, because some people might want to be looking for like a plan B situation. I'm on this call with my lovely wife, Natascha, who's had many, many years of experience and success in this industry, along with our partner and friend and dear, dear friend, Jan Kilich, who's going to tell us more about the financial side of this. But I want to get started here by welcoming everybody to the call and thanking you all for coming. And I want to just share a couple of things with you about the industry, about how this works. Tasha is going to really talk about, her success and some of the things that she's done in this industry. And Jan's going to wrap us up with really showing us the details and the numbers and sharing her story as well. So what I want to do first is I want to demystify some things, because a lot of people right now are hearing, a lot of people are hearing MLM, network marketing, people are being hit up. Let's just distinguish what that is and what we are. We're in the direct sales industry. And within the direct sales industry, there's multi-level marketing and network marketing. And one of the things that I really, really love, because I was a huge skeptic, and Tasha and Jan can tell you, a huge skeptic of this industry, and not a big fan, to be honest with you, with most of it. But within every industry, there's always going to be good companies and bad companies. I mean, people have experienced that, or companies that just aren't as, I won't say bad, but just companies you just aren't as reliable. We happen to have found one, and I think you'll see from the people who are participating on this call who are talking why we've chosen this company. So direct sales and multi-level marketing versus network marketing is very interesting. And let me back up for a second, because I missed some things here in the welcome. Right now, there's a lot of people who are vulnerable because of what's happening in the world. There's just a lot of things happening. Obviously, this is something that hasn't been done since probably the late 1800s in terms of this pandemic. Recessions have happened, but we can do some incredible things during this recession. There have been massive layoffs. There's 3 million just today. And this is not just to scare people, but social distancing. These are things that we're doing. More people are online shopping, and that's skyrocketing. More and more people will be shopping online. And more people, the new normal will be working from home or working remotely. A lot of people will be fearful of getting back out into the workplace. So they're going to be looking for opportunities to work from home, and companies will be looking for ways to do that. So right now we're in a situation where people are looking and searching for answers, once they get over the shock of what's happening. And we believe we have a better way. So going back to what multi-level marketing versus network marketing, direct sales is essentially having a product or service delivered right to you from the manufacturer, getting rid of the middlemen. So you all know direct sales through companies like Amazon. You know them through, you can buy cars through Carvana directly. So we're a direct sales company. And the umbrella of direct sales is not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing. It gives people value for their buck. Multi-level marketing, there's two different distinguishing features I want to say about multi-level marketing versus network marketing. Multi-level marketing is what a lot of people have hangups on, and rightfully so, because they can be confusing. Typically, people get concerned about, is it a pyramid scheme? Is it a get-rich-quick scheme, and those types of things? So MLM has two distinct features of restrictions of both generations. So you're restricted in terms of how many people you might benefit from in terms of the products or services through the levels that you're restricted with. And you're also typically, if you've ever been in sales, you know, every month you usually start new. So starting new means you got to start back over again, flush all your volume, all the sales you did the month before, you got to start new. That makes it challenging in the multi-level marketing industry. Not that multi-level marketing can't succeed and can't work, because it can, and it's a viable industry. It's been around for a long time. But what I love about network marketing, which ISAGENIX is a part of, and that's what we're here to talk about, is a company that we partnered with called ISAGENIX that doesn't have level restrictions. So and I'm going to illustrate that in a little bit and show you how that works. Nor does it have volume restrictions or volume flushing. You can carry that volume over to the following months. And if you've been in sales, you know the value of not having to start over again. If you've ever been involved in any type of sales or anything related to starting over the next month. So that's the beauty of what, you know, ISAGENIX offers that others don't offer. And here's let me just give you a little example of how multi-level marketing, and I illustrated this before through a video, but ISAGENIX just acquired a multi-level marketing company called Zija. And Zija is a great company in terms of its product line, but it's an MLM. The maximum amount someone can make per week in that is $1,700 per week, which is a lot of money. It's not bad. But when you look at the network marketing model that we've created, that Jim and Kathy Coover, who own co-founders of ISAGENIX, have done, is you can earn up to $13,500 per week, because it doesn't have the restrictions, it doesn't have the levels. It's an amazing, amazing opportunity to do. So let me just talk a little bit about network marketing, and I'm going to give you an analogy. ISAGENIX, excuse me, and what we are. ISAGENIX is a company that was founded 18 years ago and has produced some of the most incredible products that are validated through science. There are a lot of companies within our space who don't use science to validate their product line. You can look at just about every product that we have, and close to 100, if not over 100 products, and they've been validated and tested to exceed FDA requirements, any type of, any country that we're in, and I believe we're in about 18 markets around the world, that all companies have a threshold of what is acceptable in terms of food production in their companies. And we exceed all of those standards that any company actually has. And let me give you kind of an example of our product line and what I mean by that. So supplementation, if you've ever talked to doctors, they're going to tell you that supplementation is very important and it's very necessary now. So 5 key products that we use that are kind of the hallmark of our company is, one is our shake, our meal replacement shake, which is a full meal replacement. Most shakes on the market don't have meal replacements. And what our shakes do within the first 3 days of enhancing the body is it creates it moves you from an acidic state to an alkaline state. And those of people who know, if anybody's a medical professional, an alkaline state is much better because the disease can't ferment, and it's harder for it to ferment in an alkaline state, an alkaline body. So you're putting something in your body that's helping you be healthier and getting to a healthier state. We have something called Ionic Supreme, which is a stress reliever, but it's also adaptogen-free and antioxidant-rich. And right now, especially with the environment we're in with this coronavirus and everything, your immune system, you want it to be healthy. And again, this is not to scare you or to say that, you know, you should be using just our stuff, but we know it's proven. As I said before, it's a proven product that does that. We also have something that's, you know, a lot of people fast today. So fasting is very important. It's been shown, and you can look at the research and the science yourself, that people who fast live 10 years longer and healthier than most. Fasting's been around for thousands of years. And once again, it's an antioxidant-rich fast so that it's helping to release toxicity from the body, which is amazing, amazing stuff. And most of us are missing the vitamins and minerals that are necessary for good enzymatic processes within the body so the body functions the way it should. So overarchingly, ISAGENIX is a company that supplies products that are designed to help the body be in its best health. And right now, I think people would want to be in their best health. So let me give you a quick analogy of what our product line is. And I'm going to hand it off to Tasha. And then Jan's going to really, really hammer home what I'm about to tell you. So everybody on this call shops for food, correct? Hands up if you shop for food. And some of you aren't on, but I'm sure your hands are up. You shop for food. So you may go to Whole Foods, you may go to a Trader Joe's, you may go to a Piggly Wiggly.
Like I know there's
a Giant. And what you want to do is Tasha was giving me a sign here. So
you got muted.
So. Oh, thanks. So
you may go to the store.
So if you go to the store in today's environment, what if a store like Trader Joe's or Whole Foods came up to you, the manager, and said to you, each of you, and said, hey, we're instituting a new policy. Because of the coronavirus and because of where we are, we need new customers and we need your help. If you could, tell 2, 3, 5, 10 people, however many people you want to shop at our store, we're going to pay for some, most, or all of your products. How many of you would be inclined to tell 2, 3, 5, however many people to go to the store and shop there? Right? All of us would, right? Now, what if the manager went further and said, the people that you introduce, let's say you introduce 2 people to this store, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Giant, and those 2 people introduced it to 5 people, and those 5 people introduced it to 10 people, and those 10 turned into 1,000 people, and the manager said that everybody connected to the first 2 people that you introduced us to, we're going to not only pay for your groceries, but we're going to pay you a referral fee, a substantial referral income from that. Would anybody object to taking a referral income from a store? Absolutely not, right? So let me hammer this home before I hand it off to Tasha. Let me give you an example of how rich our compensation plan is. If you introduced it to 2 people, and those 2 people introduced it to 2 people 10 times, so that's 2 to the 10th, that'd be 1,000 people that would have been introduced by you, not directly, indirectly, because you've only shared this with 2 people or told 2 people to do this, right? And those 2 people showed the rest and told the rest, and it equaled 1,000 people within our compensation plan. That's about a $4,000 to $6,000 a month income just from sharing it with 2 people. So the benefit, what you're doing is you're giving people access to incredibly rich, healthy, nutritious food through ISAGENIX. You're showing them how they can shop online for their convenience, because nobody wants to go out and everybody wants to shop online and nobody wants to have access to that. You're helping them boost their immune system and get them in a better state of health to combat. And I think everybody, because of what's happening, would like to be in their best state of health possible. And lastly, most importantly, you're creating a financial windfall for yourself just by helping others have access to that. So I hope that kind of gives you some information about, network marketing, pyramid scheme, which we're not, and other things that we are. And I'm going to hand it off to my lovely wife, Tasha, who's going to talk a little bit more about.
Got to do it. Okay, thanks, Rick. That was awesome. I love that grocery store analogy. So you guys, I'm Tascha Whedon, Rick's other half, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my background and then just kind of share what we're talking about. So I've been in network marketing for about 16 years now. I was in another company with Jan and Rick, well, sort of. He was kind of our token guy. I loved the industry. I really thought it was an amazing platform, and it gave you freedom to choose what you wanted to make and who you wanted to help and how you wanted to work, and it was just amazing. I was in a network marketing company, and it was good products and everything, but the levels and the
MLM.
restrictions and the MLM part of it was just, it was challenging. It broke my heart, actually. I was able to make it to a VP level, and it was amazing because I got to, you know, make the big money, about $20,000 a month, and drive the fancy car and all, but I couldn't do that for my team. And it's a very lonely place to be when you get to that place and you can't share that when you have so many people there who've gotten you there. And it was really all about the restrictions that were in the compensation plan. We moved over to ISAGENIX because Rick was going through a really kind of serious health crisis with his health a few years ago, and he decided to take a look at the products and had a miraculous shift with just not even just releasing 65 pounds, but reversing all his biomarkers and really, you know, never having to get on a pharmaceutical drug. Winning 2 gold medals in the Senior Olympics. I mean, just turned his life around. And so I had to look at it. And when we did a deeper dive and just really understood what was happening with this compensation plan, first of all, it's unbelievable because you're like, what? Are you serious? What do you mean unlimited depth? What do you mean things don't flush at the end of the month? What do you mean someone can't pass me and if they're doing better? Or it was just such a beautiful plan all throughout that there was no way that we weren't getting on board. So we did, and you know, have had some success. And now with our philosophy with Wealth Thru Wellness, it's really about having an income strategy. It's having an income strategy using these wellness solutions, these amazing products with ISAGENIX, and building communities of people for the purpose of making money. So, you know, I feel like this is for everyone. Like, I believe in other companies and other MLMs, you can certainly do well, you can be a success, but you gotta give it all. Like, you have to give your time, you have to do everything, and you have to be able to manipulate things within those levels that you're restricted to. Here, that's not the case. I believe this is an opportunity for anyone to have a substantial, passive, residual income coming in based on just using these products for themselves, their personal consumption. So I believe it's for everyone. I believe it's for very busy people, especially, who don't have time to get another job, who have, you know, too much month at the end of the money and don't want to sell anything, don't have money to invest in real estate or the stock market, but they have a network of people and they can, they feel, and they can share that. They can have a conversation, a purposeful conversation. Take a certain amount of your own grocery budget and these, you know, this is not, like Rick was saying, it's not snake oil. It's like products that really fortify, things that have changed our life, our children's life, and redirect some of your grocery to just buying those products and have a conversation with a couple of other people in your network. And by when I say by a couple of people, I really feel like a lot of people get stuck in the fact that they think they've got to know and sponsor and sign up the world. And you don't. And especially with our incredible, you know, unlimited depth compensation strategy, it can happen with 2. I mean, is 4 better? Sure. 6, 5, 10. 10, you maximize the comp plan. But I feel like people either think it's too good to be true because they are like, how can this be? We're used to trading our time for money. We're used to things being hard, money not coming to us easily. But, you know, if you think about it, and if you think about the way God was supposed to have it and all, it's supposed to be about abundance. It's supposed to be about helping each other. It's supposed to be about community. And that's what this company has put together with this. And I feel like, you know, I'm just so passionate right now because here I've been, you know, I've been doing this. You know, at our networking group, whoever I speak to, I talk about, here's a way to have this plan B, this income coming in. You know, this is plan B is what if money. You know, what if you lost that job? What if you got sick? What if there was a global pandemic and you can't work? This is what, and there are people in our company, thank goodness, and you know, and us who, you know, are not feeling that financial, you know, hit as much as, you know, people in the restaurants or tourism or, you know, all these areas where financially things have closed down and they're being hit. And there's some people in ISAGENIX even, you know, who are doing even better, who are not feeling it at all because they have created this foundation of wellness and wealth to be this really huge barrier for them to be able to have choices. And I'm just feeling so passionate about, you know, imagine if we knew a restaurant owner who's trying to help his servers and bartenders and all make it through this time. And say, you know, hey, let's get your guys all on a Zoom call, because that's how we're communicating now. And let's talk to everyone about this and build a community of these people in this restaurant who can then immediately make money and put something good in their bodies. Or, you know, real estate, you know, a real estate brokerage, or a bunch of, you know, agents, or retail stores, hair salons, hairstylists, massage therapists. They are not making any money. And it's just, it's a scary thing. And I just want to say to people that, you know, I realize that this industry is full of skepticism, and rightly so, because it's had its ups and downs just like everything else. And just like everything else, it's, you know, 80% not so good and 20% good. I think it's probably more like 90-10. But, you know, when franchise started, they were skeptical about franchises. And when Uber started, you know, there was some skepticism there, and Airbnb, and all these things that started and in the beginning was new and unknown. And yes, we are in a unique out of the box concept here. And can I tell you, I love that. And I love that ISAGENIX is unique even in the space of network marketing and even in the space of direct sales, because that's good. I'm happy to be different. And I just feel like just because it looks too good to be true doesn't mean it's not working. And it doesn't mean it's not changing lives for the better. And I just want everybody to just take a look at it. Just take a look at it. So I am going to hand this over to Jan, because she has just always blown my mind, kept me up all night with the, you know, what's possible and know what's happening here with us. And just to tell you guys, Jan and I go back, gosh, it's got to be about 14 years. She's my dear friend. Rick and I, both of our dear friend, our mentor. She's our partner in business. And she's got 6 kids. She's married to Bobby, the badass physician. Sorry, I had to say it. And she's an engineer by background, and like Rick, was a skeptic. You'd never think either of these two guys would be doing this, but here they are. And I think what it is, it's that they were attracted by the best, and that's what we have here. So Jan, will you take it away?
Sure, thanks, Tasha. Yes, everybody, I got involved in the industry 16 years ago, and I'll tell you my story in just a few minutes. But first, I want to go through some numbers with you, and I want you to really focus on this, because it is the simplicity of this business. And you may have been shown something like this with other companies if you've ever looked at one of these, and maybe you even tried one and you just thought it doesn't really work that easy. The problem is the compensation structures, but ISAGENIX is a true network marketing compensation structure. And so it can work that way because of the way they pay. So let me show you these numbers here. I'm going to have to share my screen, so hang on one second. Okay, so if we were just talking about doing business the traditional way, you know, the traditional retail volume way, and you wanted to get $2 million worth of retail sales in your business. And so maybe you would hire 200 salespeople to each have a quota of $10,000 of sales in order to get to 2 million. Okay. Now this is where people get all hooked up on these types of businesses. They assume they have to go out and sell a whole bunch of product, and that's the way we make our money. And as Rick was alluding to, in the traditional direct sales model, that was true. You would buy a product at one price and you'd go have a party and sell it at a higher price. And that would be the money that you made. But in network marketing, that's not really what our goal is. So instead of the traditional 200 people selling 10,000 each, because that's pretty hard for most people to do, our strategy is to get 10,000 people personally using $200 each to get to 2 million. So it's more doing less, okay? More people doing less. They're personally using. Now, you don't have to know in order to build this consumer network, and 10,000 is not the magic number. It's just a number I'm using because the sky is the limit, quite frankly. But to build, let's say, to that 10,000, you don't have to know all 10,000. And let me show you why. The way this company pays out, if you knew 4 people, okay, they wanted to be healthy, they wanted to make some income, and they wanted their time back, because those are the 3 key things that this business will show you. And if those 4 each knew 4 people, then you'd have 16 more people. And if those 16 knew 4 people, then that'd be 64 more people. And if that went 2 more generations, you'd have 1,365 people. But you and every other person, all you did was introduce it to 4 people for personal consumption, okay? Now let's say you upped your strategy a little and you knew 6, and almost all of us know 6 people. And those 6 knew 6 each, so that's 36 more. In the same number of generations, you're almost to that 10,000. But again, each person only talked to 6, and they were only personally consuming the products. So no overhead, no inventory. All right. Now, if you knew 10, and that's we recommend that you shoot for 10 who are actively trying to build, because it does max out all the extra money that's in the compensation plan, the way ISAGENIX is designed. That same model at that level of generation is 111,000, and you only personally found 10. Now understand this, there are no limits to our generation, so it doesn't stop there. It goes on and on and on. I mean, there are people with hundreds and thousands of people on their teams who are all personally consuming and still talking to people. Now, in a perfect world, if you use that building strategy of 10, and if each of those businesses did a monthly production of $200, meaning each of those people consumed $200 worth, and that would be protein shakes and vitamins in a month. And that's not even quite 200. I'm using 200 because it's an easy number to multiply, but it's a good target to have. But everybody in this time, especially what this pandemic has shown us, is where our vulnerabilities are. Our vulnerabilities as human beings are in our health, and they're in our finances, and they're in our relationships. Those are the 3 key areas that we're worried about right now. How is my family going to wear through this? How am I going to keep the roof over my head? And how am I going to keep my health up, my immune system up? So all 3 of those, every time we have a disaster, pretty much, at least one, if not all, are exposed. We can't just sit around and assume that's not going to happen again. And let me just ask you this, if you haven't gotten prepared for retirement or prepared, to be able to someday sit down from your day job and haven't gotten yourself out of debt and don't have any way of doing it, you're going to be vulnerable for the rest of your life. And it's going to be painful potentially. And there are tons and tons of people out there who are, and it's really not going to be pretty. So if all 111,000 of those businesses did 200 each, that's $22 million in product that would be moved through the business center in 1 month. Now, the thing to really remember is these are consumable products. So month after month after month, once people get these products in their body, and we've got so many different products that all fuel the body really well. So there's all kinds of things for people to choose from. Once you get these products in your body, you understand the difference. You see where your physical vulnerabilities have been, whether you've been tired, whether you've just been, fuzzy in your mind and not clear-headed to get creative about ways to spend your time and your money. Tons of people, that'd be the first thing they'd tell you is I'm kind of fuzzy and I'm just tired. And these products really, really help with that. So that's in a perfect world scenario. You see, it's astounding. Each person found 10 and it was 22 million. That's why ISAGENIX has this business model, because they know they'd never be able to sell $22 million worth of these products if they were sitting behind a retail store. They'd have to have store after store after store with all that overhead. But in our business model, they don't have any of that overhead because they have us. They have us, and we're relational. And as people, we naturally want to share things that we like with other people. So that's in an ideal, perfect world scenario. Let's go to real world scenario. We know that wouldn't happen. The 10 won't all find 10, won't all find 10, won't all find 10, etc. If just 1% of that network in just those generations worked out, that's 1% of 111,000 at 200 each. That's 222,000 in consumption in 1 month. And in the ISAGENIX compensation plan, that translates into an average income from anywhere from $4,000 a month in the residual side up to $9,000 a month if you add the bonuses and all the extra things that ISAGENIX offers in their compensation plan. So, it's kind of mind-boggling. And as Tasha said, it seems, quote, too good to be true. But it's not. It's real. It exists. The company, has a contract that they will pay on this behavior. All we really have to do is help people understand that it's really that simple and get them to put the products in their body and turn around and tell somebody else, hey, this tip over here, this income producing asset you have access to it. You don't have to have a special education. You don't have to have a lot of money to start the business. You're gonna basically be eating your overhead, that $200 a month. Again, 200 is not the number, that's not a minimum order. It's just an easy number to use for multiplication's sake. Okay, so the bottom line is everybody needs this nutrition because you're not getting it in your food supply. And everybody needs that additional stream of income, whether they're willing to admit it or not. Or they want it, they need to be able to build their relationships. So they need to be able to have the flexibility to step back from that day job or that other business that consumes their whole life. So I want to go back and tell you a little bit more about my story real quick. And it's a pretty intense story. So I want you to just be ready. But 20 years ago, I was in an earthquake. And at the time, I had 5 children. My oldest was 5. And then I had a 4-year-old, a 3.5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 10-month-old. And in the middle of the night, I was in an earthquake. And 4 of my 5 children were killed. Yeah, life happens. It's not something you expect any more than this whole world pandemic. I almost died. My mother and father-in-law both died too. So in 45 seconds, middle of the night, boom, everything changed. You get real sober then. You get real clear about what the most important things are. So when we're rushing around just trying to, please the boss or get ahead or all those things, none of that mattered. The whole world stopped. And kind of like probably what you're going to be feeling in your houses in the next few weeks while we're sitting here, helpless, basically, but knowing, hoping that it's going to get better, it's going to get better, it's going to get better. It will get better. But here's the thing. You have an opportunity right now to set some things in place, to get some things started that could really ensure that the last thing I wanted to worry about during that time was money. It was the last thing, and yet you have to. It's an essential in life. So when you create an income producing asset like this that is not totally dependent on you, But that 10 and that 100 and that 1,000 and that 10,000, that 100,000, those other people out there talking too, then you've got something that even when you're asleep or when you're taking care of an elderly parent or when you're ready to retire and you don't want to work that hard anymore, it's there. It still goes on and on. This company is solid. It's an 18-year-old company. It's not publicly traded. It's privately owned, and it's a legacy company. There's a gentleman who's 91, I think. He's made $40 million with this company, he and his family. I mean, it changed the course of their entire life. And he was a butcher. He wasn't some big, big as life actor or something that got a lot of attention. He was a butcher. All he did was know how to turn around and tell people how to talk to two people. Because literally with two people, you can do $750,000 in a year. If that two duplicates two more, you can build because there's no limits on how far it can go. So after we lost the kids, my husband and I decided that, what is important? Well, what was important is, we loved each one of those children as individuals. Nothing changed their identity, but before each one of them was even born, we loved that baby. So we love being parents, basically. There's, two parts to us, to love the child and then to love just being the parent. So we adopted 4 children, and then I ended up miraculously getting pregnant and having another baby. So that's how we have 6 now. And I tell you, it's this week I've got 5 of my 6 home. My oldest daughter is stuck in Spain, so we're just praying for her. But having them all back in the house is like taking me all the way back to remembering what was important, what really matters in life. And I think maybe some of you are feeling that too, and you're going to be running across people who are feeling that too. Everybody needs to have this flexibility in their life. They need this income producing asset so that they have that flexibility, so that they can retire one day, so that they can get out of debt to be able to retire. Because if you're in debt, that's not going to happen either. You're going to have to keep working, unless you've got a way to get out of debt. So the world needs it. They need the nutrition and they need the income producing asset. So I encourage you not to allow your own fears to hold you back from this, but to truly consider it, because we will come alongside you and help you make the compelling case with whoever it is that you want to talk to about it, because we believe in it so much, and because quite frankly, we all win when that happens. So I'm going to turn it back over to Rick or you want me to close?
Sure. Thanks, Jan. What an amazing story, first of all. It's an amazing, amazing story. And if everybody reflects just a second on, what she just shared, I mean, it's stop. I mean, I'm just like stunned for a second. And I've heard this story before. So the only thing I want to close out, and Natascha can say something if she'd like, but if not this, then what?
If not now, then when?
Because I've heard this from mentors who have, what else is there when statistics show that 70, 80% of people are looking for another option? And right now there are people who just don't have that option to look for another option. They just need it. So if not this, then what? And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, and Jan, thank you so much for sharing your heart. And every time you do, it's just, because it is true. This may be our first global pandemic, but it's not your first. And it's just to be able to share that and share mindset and a little bit of what it took to climb back up with the world is a gift that God has given you through that loss.
So before we close out, normally we're going to do this, as I said before, so put this on your calendars and, let people know every Wednesday at 8 p.m. until we decide to change that. We're going to invite people to just come into our Zoom chat room, hear this story, hear what's possible, hear what people are doing, and give them hopefully hope. I always, and my saying with people is that, communities are looking for hope, health, and wealth. And that's what we're building, communities of hope, health, and wealth. So if there are any questions, if anybody, we normally won't open this up for questions, but if somebody wants to
Jen,
open up
do you want to turn off the recording and we can just open it up and have some questions and chat a little bit with everyone, or we can talk to people individually, whatever, however.